All right, well, I think everybody in that locker room, all right, is exhausted in a good way. And I told our players I'm proud of them. They did what they needed to do to win the football game, and that was the message this week. Just play every play. You know, simple. Just play the play, and that's really what happened. If you look at the game towards the end, and I'll get into that here in just a minute, but first of all, you know, Missouri is a very good football team. They're very well coached. Their staff had them prepared. I knew Eli would do that, and he did exactly that. And they did some really good things. And we had to overcome a tough opponent, certainly some tough circumstances. At the end of the game, they put themselves in position to win the game, and we were able to have that play go our way with the field goal and go into overtime, and then have an opportunity for Anders to go out there and make the kick, which he did. And then at the very end of it, played that last play, and the ball comes out. You know, and that's really the tail of the game right there. The ball comes out, and we're able to recover it. So we had 2 turnovers today, so we're +2 on the turnovers, which is what we wanted to be. That was a big factor in the game. But just overall, just the effort of our guys and the sideline and the energy and the focus each and every play, the execution part of it. You know, we'll go back and look at that. We know that that's always a message that we're going to have from me and our coaches and everybody in that room is, you know, the execution. We're going to have to figure out, you know, how we do those things better, and that's the beauty of having another week to go prepare for another SEC opponent. But overall, I mean, that was a great game. Our crowd was fantastic. To get up early and to be there at 11 a.m., to go out there and have the energy that we did. I thought we started off fast, and so you could feel that. I thought we had momentum early in the game, and then things started to slow down. It was just kind of a back-and-forth slugfest at that point. And then just looking at it, I thought our defense did some really good things. They got the turnover early in the game, and then we were able to get them out. I don't know how many 3-and-outs we had, and they made a few plays, and then we got ourselves in the second half. We got ourselves into some behind-the-chains situations is what we did. We wanted to stay ahead of the chains. We got behind the chains. And so 2nd and 12, 2nd and 15, you know, we didn't recover from that as well as we'd like to. We got to learn. We got to learn from that. But overall, you know, in that locker room right there, there's a lot of guys in there that I'm very proud of and appreciate the effort. The coaches, you know, not panicking and sticking with the plan and making some adjustments that we needed to, and then you know, we'll learn from that. So we have today to sit back and kind of just watch some other teams and take in what occurred in this game. We got tomorrow to go back to work, and then we'll do that. You know, and that's the one thing you get in the SEC play. It's going to be every single week, and it's really like that. You're playing good opponents every week that are well coached, that have great players, and sometimes you got to find a way, and we did that. We found a way to win the game, and I'm really proud of our guys for that. So with that, questions.
If you have a question, raise your hand. Please state your name and affiliation. Good. Mark, all that.
Coach, Mark Murphy from inside the Auburn Tigers. Have you ever had a game and ended that way at the end of regulation and then something so crazy in overtime?
No. Right now, I mean, there's been some crazy games, but no, not like that. I think as you looked at the end of the game there, we put ourselves in a position, you know, when they went to take a knee and really center the ball, that's what they were doing. They were going to center the ball, which was the right thing to do. I don't think put yourself in a position where you're going to put the ball in harm's way, so I thought they executed what they needed to do to put themselves in a position to win. We went out there. I think we applied some pressure. I couldn't tell you what caused the kick to maybe just go wide right, if it was the pressure that we were bringing. And one of the things about that is just an accumulation of the game, right, as you're out there and you have a chance to get your field goal block team. You know, sometimes that does affect the kicker. But you get into overtime, you want to score a touchdown, we end up kicking a field goal, and you think that might be a pick right there, and it ends up not being a pick. And so we get another chance, which was huge. You know, that ball hitting the ground, it's just, you know, it comes down to a game of inches is what it comes down to. And, you know, their kids were out there trying to make plays too. And so it went our way. We were able to get the field goal out of it. And at the end, you know, that's one of those things where I know it's taught on our end. I know it's taught at Missouri as well. You know, just the ball, and as you put the ball out there, things can happen. And then that's what happened. You know, the guy's trying to make a play, and the ball goes into the end zone and fumbles. We recover that, and that's the end of it. So crazy finish. Both teams fighting hard to win the football game, and and we were able to find a way to get it done.
Back left.
Ike Jones with the War. Coach, can you comment on the play of the offensive line? It seems as if you guys are just having some trouble with protections right now, and as well as Tate Johnson. How is he doing right now?
Yeah, Tate, I don't know the status of Tate right now and what that means moving forward, so we'll get more of that tomorrow. We struggled in some of our pass protection, no question. I also think they did a good job, but that's an area that we're going to continue to keep emphasizing and keep working on, and it's not going to go away until we fix some of our own problems, and that's the focus that you have on your own football team, and our guys know that. So a lot of our week in preparation still is about us, right? We played Missouri today, but a lot of it was about what we had to do, how we had to execute. And the message during the week was focus and execution. Focus on the task at hand, and then execute the plays and do our job basically out there. And we got to be better on the offensive line. We got too much pressure. Robbie did a good job today. I was really proud of Robbie. Robbie ran around and made some plays. That's the one thing that Robbie did a really good job of. He made things happen, and he ran the ball well. At the end of the, I think it was towards the end there, we had a little fade ball that he threw that was nice. Coy had a great catch on that. Those guys, had that dialed in. That wasn't necessarily what we thought they might do, but they came up and pressed us. So we had a chance for that. You don't know if they're going to press or not, but he gave us an opportunity to make that throw, and we did. We executed that, so it helped us get into field goal range or a better field position. So, but overall, yeah, we got to fix some of those things up front, and that ties into the run game. And for us, just so we're clear, I mean, we want every single play to be successful. We want to stay ahead of the chains, and when you don't, that's where you got to look back and go, all right, what are we doing schematically? How are we coaching it? What are the things we're doing in our drills to make sure that we're maybe in better positions than what we were today? And that's what we get to do as coaches, is go figure out how we help our players be better in those areas, and that's our job to do that. And those guys, they're going to work hard at it, and we got to make sure that we do a great job this week of working on some of those things and getting better in those areas.
Hey, Brian. Brian Stoltz, Auburn Rivals. Was playing Holden in the game plan, or was it a case of maybe Robbie getting a little knocked up?
Yeah, it was more of that. Robbie got a little bit, he got hit, and so he needed a minute there to recover, so to get Holden in there and play him. And I'll say this, Holden had a very good week, and Holden is coming on. All right, he is coming on. He's learning. He's been involved in every game plan. Maybe not as far as playing, but he knows the game plan. He knows what to do. And we put him out there. Yeah, we felt good. We felt like he can go out there and execute the plays. I don't think anything had to do with Holden necessarily. It kind of comes back to the question with protection, right? We need to do a better job, give him a little bit more time, but felt good about when he went in there. We actually gave him another drive and gave him another chance. Kind of felt like he was ready to go again, and then Robbie came back, and we were able to finish the game with him.
Brian, hope you know. I assume you're doing pretty well today after all that.
I'm doing all right, yeah. Yeah, doing all right. It's been a day.
But speaking of that, what's going through your mind when that Ashford pass is called for the interception? Just the emotional wave of it.
Which what?
Ashford at the end of the first overtime.
Yeah, when it could be a pick?
Yeah. What's going through this? The emotional wave from that to the fumble.
Yeah. Well, I think number one, you're hoping it's not. You see the ball, and that's why you get a chance. That's why they have replay. All right, but obviously in that moment right there, I mean, that's not what you want to have happen. Right, those guys, if that's a turnover, that's huge. All right, that's game changing in that moment. So it didn't go their way, it went our way. And at the end of the game, you see, I kind of saw what you guys all saw too. I mean, I'll watch it more in detail, but you see their back break it, and our guys are charging on the ball, and then the ball comes out, and you just don't know what's going to happen, right? I don't know if he crossed the line with it. I don't know if it's going out of the back of the end zone. I don't know if he stepped out of bounds. You don't know anything because it's on their sideline. All you know is that they're advancing the football, and they're getting closer and closer to the end zone, and if they score a touchdown, it's over. Right? So that's really what it comes down to. They can't score. If they kick a field goal, we go into another overtime, and then we're into our two-point conversions after that. But that didn't happen. So the ball came out. Our guys finished the play. They were truly playing that play, and that's what happened on it, and we're able to win the game.
TomGreenale.com. Can you just kind of walk us through that thought process in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, 4th and 1, choosing to go for it there instead of maybe trotting out honors to try the field goal?
Yeah. Well, we went for, I don't know how many, we went for quite a bit today on 4th down. There was another one that I called a timeout that, we were going to kick it, and then no. We talk about this stuff in the staff room, and we watch quite a bit of film of just what other teams do in certain situations, just learning. And in that moment, it was like, we need to go for it. All right, you're here to win this football game, and I thought that was the right call timeout and go for it. Finish out, getting our guys a chance to hopefully finish that drive, so get the first down. The one at the end, I thought we had the first down. And we were going to go fast in that moment. They called a timeout, and, I don't know, it was 6 inches maybe, right? I mean, it was very short. Might have been longer than that. But felt like from what we had done and stuff that we had discussed, too, that we could get that. I really believed our guys can get that, and that we needed that as well. And they did a great job. They played they did a great job with their front, knocked us back. They beat us on the edge, I think, is what happened, and why they got in the backfield, and we didn't get it. But that was more of, us being aggressive in that moment, and it's inches, and we felt like we could get it because we had done that throughout the game.
Justin, far right.
Justin Ferguson, Auburn Observer. Last week, you guys on defense in the second half had a tough second half. This week, 5 3-and-outs on 7 possessions from Missouri. Just how about the defense's response after that second quarter and just finishing that game out and giving you guys a chance to win?
Yeah, we really leaned on our defense a lot. And those guys, they came up big. I thought the D-line did a really good job. They tried to run the football. And Missouri, coming into this game, we felt like, they had done a good job in their run game. The schemes they run, how they do it. We knew we were going to get a bunch of formations and personnel groups, which, Coach Drinkwitz does an awesome job with that. He's very hard to defend with a lot of the things that he does. And we got a bunch of different looks, but the D-line came up big. I thought our edges made some big plays when they needed to. So that was huge. It was huge for our defense to get those stops, to get the ball back in our offensive hands. And they did everything they could to give us a chance to put more points on the board. So I thought those guys executed like they should, and really tried to help our football team. We got to compliment that on the offensive side, but they did a very good job of making that happen.
Far right.
Johnny Condon, ABC 3340 in Birmingham. Coach, you see so much both in college and the NFL when teams reach for the goal line like that and the ball goes in the back of the end zone for a touchback. I was interested how you guys coach that. Do you say if you have a chance to get to the goal line, go for it, or is that something where you say, unless if it's 4th down?
Yeah, you know what? It's really that, and I know on. I'm sure they've coached it the same way at Missouri as well. And it's hard. I mean, it's just in the moment, right? You got to think about this too. And I know it's coached up, and you don't want to stick the ball out, and you do on 4th down, right? If it's 4th down, you got to get it. All right, that's always the coaching point. You got to do whatever you have to do to put the ball in the end zone. On an early down, no, you don't. If you stretch the ball out, there's a chance that ball comes out. But we see it all the time. Some guys palm that ball and they stick the ball out there and they score, right? You see that as well, and it's a great play, and everybody cheers that. So, when something like that happens, that's one. This would be a play that everybody in the country will look at. All right, every staff in America will have this play, and they'll look at it, and it'll be another. It's like when guys run and drop the ball before the end zone, right? And that happens. You coach those things up. I know that their player was trying to score. He's doing everything he can to put the ball in the end zone, and the ball comes out, and that's why you coach it that way. But again, when you're out there and you got 11 guys running after you, and you're trying to make a play, sometimes you got to remember those things. And but I mean, it's just guys are playing hard. And it happened, and I think that's the number one thing to learn from. And certainly for their players, they were trying to win the football game too. And fortunately for us, and hard for them. I mean, that's what happened in the game. It's just that's football, and those things happen, and the ball bounced our way. And we hadn't had a lot of things, necessarily go our way, and we needed that. We needed that turnover. We needed that ball to come out in situations like that, or that situation, and that's what happened, and we were able to win.
Rex, back row.
Coach, Rex Castillo with WRBL in Columbus, Georgia. After the Penn State game, there was a lot of noise that could have affected the mindset of this team. The mindset comes out
here. They play hard. They play like this. You have a big embrace with Robbie Ashford at the end of the game. What's it like to have a group of men like that, kind of flush what happened last week and just focus on what they had to do?
Yeah, they're resilient. I mean, that's every week there's going to be, I mean, we talk about it, and you guys know this too. There's a lot of noise around every game, right? And that's just something you got to deal with every week. Either if you lost, it wasn't good enough. And if you won, maybe sometimes it's not good enough, right? There's just a lot of things that go into it. And I think our biggest challenge is keeping our guys focused on what happens in our facility and the things that we know that are going to help us be successful. And that really is. That's our biggest challenge every single week. Win or lose, right? You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You got to flush the games, you got to learn from things you did. And we won this game, plenty to learn from, and then tomorrow night we got to flush this, we got to move on to LSU. So that right there, then that's to me where the discipline comes in. And that's a big word that we use in our program, the discipline to just focus on the things you need to and to do the assignments that are right in front of you. And, I thought our guys did that this week. That was one of the messages this week is like, look, stay focused on the task at hand and then just concentrate on the execution of the play. And tonight, sometimes it doesn't always work that way. As a coach, you use things for your players. It doesn't always go that way. Tonight it did. And so, our guys learned a valuable lesson. All right, the game's never over, even if you think it is and everybody else thinks it is. You just got to play that play. And if you do and it goes in your favor, you got to be ready to go out there and execute whatever you have to do to win the game. And so as long as we can do that, as long as we can keep that message tight, all right, within that room and the guys listen to what the things that we have to say and what our coaches have to say, then that's going to help us continue to keep growing as a football team and helping us stay focused on what we have to do to win games.
Brian.
Yes, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. In a defensive game where you said you had to really rely on your defense, what does it mean to have Derek Hall step up and play like he did?
Yeah, Derek, well, I mean, Derek's a captain. There's a reason why he is, and he's going to step up. And, in this game we come in, it's tied, it's 14-14 at halftime, right? It was 14-14? What was it? It's 14-14, right? Yeah, it's 14-14 at halftime, so really 0-0 at halftime is what it was. And, everybody sat down, they hydrated, they got on the whiteboards and started making adjustments and things we had to do. I mean, that to me, like, that's a step in the right direction. And the leaders on the team are a big part of that, so that's why you have leaders, and he's one of them, and he stepped up today, and so did other guys. There were some things, too, in the back end and coverage that we did a good job. We were running hip-to-hip with a lot of guys, and we didn't have too many penalties. I thought special teams, we tried to create some things. Stuff we talk about showed up on special teams in a positive way. So, it just goes back to some of the stuff that we worked on this week that showed up in this game. And it goes into overtime. It's a 3-point ball game, but we did some really good things. That's one thing. We did some really good things that we worked on this last week that showed up in this game. Now we got plenty more to get better at, but I'm proud of our coaches for emphasizing that and the players executing it and doing what they needed to do to find a way to win, and that's what happened.
Brian, Henry Patton, Auburn Rivals. Anders kind of struggled a bit today, missed one officially, two unofficially, but when y'all needed him most, he stepped up. What do you see from him, and can you talk about his resilience after?
Yeah, we trust Anders. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And even, we talk about that fourth down. We trust him in that moment, too. We just felt like we could really get it, and that would help us get a little bit closer. But he came through. They had the penalty. I think he missed it, and there was a penalty. We came back. He made it. I know we missed one in regulation there, but, we trust Anders every single week. He comes to work. He prepares himself. He's ready to go. I think he's got a great calmness about him that you have to have in that position because, for kickers, the one thing I always tell them, like, you get one shot. Everybody else is out there playing, right? You can kind of get into a groove of a play, get 3-4 plays or whatever. When you come in, it's one play. And so those guys, they're over there kicking in the net and doing whatever they got to do, but you get one shot. And so I think you got to be extremely mentally strong to be able to go out there and have that moment and really just capture it with just executing and doing your assignment, which is what he did when we needed him most, and he was able to help us win the game.
Two more. Nathan.
Brian, kind of going back to what you're saying about Derek, he told us after the game he sort of decided that they weren't going to lose, that he was going to be the reason that they won along the defensive front. Just what does it do for y'all when you have kind of a guy that can set the pulse there? And I guess just overall how successful of a day he
Yeah, I think he did that. I think other guys did that. Right, and that's part of it. I think that's part of learning how to win is deciding that you're going to go out there and do everything you can to put yourself in a position to do that. So, And that's something that he's been a part of. We talked about, and he certainly brought that today. He was great on the sideline. He was great in the locker room. He was great, during the game. He went out there and produced. That's what great players do. They lead. They set the example, and he did that. So more and more guys, and on the defensive side too, they follow that. They follow Owen. They follow Eku. They follow those guys. Colby, one guy tonight today I thought was really good was Colby Wooden. Every moment, every time. Now it seemed like we had a football game in the middle of commercials is what it seemed like. There's a lot of commercials today. All right. So I asked the guy, I'm like, how many more of these we got? Like there's a football game going on and anyhow, but every one of those breaks, Colby just had a smile on his face and was just nodding like we're going to get it done. And that was good. It was good for our team. It was good for him. It was good for everybody. And so those guys were in tune with what we had to do to win.
Coach, last one back row, Jamal.
Hey, Coach. Jamal Kennedy, WSBH Sports in Montgomery. After the game, you embraced Robbie there. Could you talk a little bit about what you said to him, what that moment was like?
Yeah, Robbie was emotional, and as he should be. I mean, that's a huge opportunity for him. He got to start, and he did some really good things tonight, and he's excited. He was excited about having the chance to do that. He played extremely tough. He showed tremendous toughness today, and it's important to him. And that's the other part too. It's really important to these players, what they do, how they perform, what they're trying to accomplish for their teammates. And I could feel that, and that was him. There was a chance to just embrace and know that we put a really hard day of work in to win this game. He played really well. He worked really hard this week to get himself prepared and ready, and that's how it should feel, right? That's the beauty of what we get to do. And I talk about the arena, and when we're in it, it's an emotional game, and you got to stay locked in and focused to execute. But there's emotions, and when the game is over and you've won a game like that and you found a way to get it done, you should feel that way. You should feel that joy, and you should feel that excitement because of a hard day's work, and you're proud that you're able to go out there and help your team win the football game.